in conversation with the first prize winners of the school as anchors of community design competition. Water Remembrance designed by Tatsuto Ibuka, Suzuka Namiki, Moreno Carreon Ximena Montserr, Poncet, and Satsuki Simizu, Louloua.
Hello everyone, my name is Louloua and today I will be speaking on behalf of my group. Thank you for watching this video. In the next few minutes, I will talk about our project and what we hope it achieves. Our project is located in Sumida Ward in Tokyo. And before starting the design process, we tried to deeply understand the context and problematics of the sites and distinguished two major challenges. First, the fact that there are a lot of educational institutions such as nurseries, high schools, universities. We noticed even some elderly centers, but no intergenerational meeting spaces for them to connect. Also, it's a highly industrial area and lacks a lot of green spaces. Then we proceeded on researching the history of Sumida, and this is where our central idea emerged. So during the Edo period, this area was generally composed of rice fields and old canals, but then with urban development and flood control infrastructures, these waterways started to disappear. So the idea here was to preserve the identity of Sumida by reinterpreting the presence of water into our project, and more specifically, through bringing back an old canal that used to connect different points of the neighborhood. And rather than treating water as just a visual element, we wanted it to be a learning medium that can be experienced through senses. Then, when we were interpreting the theme schools as anchors of society, we saw it not only as an educational place, but also as a social and cultural infrastructure that is capable of connecting people and communities to their environment and their history. Our project functions as a hybrid between a school and a community center. We wanted it to remain active beyond school hours and welcome different generations, backgrounds, and different types of users throughout the day. This is all conveyed into our program, which includes a nursery that was once on the site but that we reintegrated into our project, libraries for both children and adults with visual connections between the spaces, exhibition galleries, outdoor terraces, shared gardens, and even crafts workshops where knowledge can be transmitted from generation to generation. At the center of the school, we envisioned a shared piazza where interactions, gatherings, and collective activities can happen naturally. Accessibility and inclusivity are both very important aspects of our project. We wanted to design a space where different people can naturally interact and coexist throughout the day. This idea is also reflected through the openness of the project itself. For example, there's a visual continuity between the outskirts of the buildings and the interior spaces. There are also multiple entrances, open pathways that connect different parts of the sites together, and all of which can make the users feel like they're part of an institution which is an extension of the neighborhood rather than a closed one. We also opted for the same circulation system in each of the buildings, including ramps and elevators, which makes it easy to navigate and to understand spatially. The sensory experience in the building also makes each experience of each different user very unique. For example, one of our galleries was conceived specifically in relation to a visually impaired center that is located near the sites. The idea here was to create a space where people with disabilities can experience it in a unique way. For example, we used the sound experience from the water and a tactile experience from the wood engraving workshops and the texture workshops. In a society where communities and educational needs are constantly evolving, adaptability was one more important point. We designed modular classrooms that can be rearranged depending on different uses and activities. Also, the galleries are composed of movable partitions, allowing them to host performances, exhibitions, and even can become extensions of workshops if needed. The exterior spaces, such as the shared plaza, can host throughout the year many kinds of events, such as festivals or markets, or all sorts of gatherings. And the water element, which is the connecting thread of our project, accompanies each of these spaces, either interior or exterior, and can be interpreted in many ways. They can be used as contemplative spaces, they can be used as playgrounds, they can even be used as working environments. By making learning visible and accessible in everyday life, we hope to strengthen the relationship between education and community development. We believe that education should not be isolated inside of classrooms. So through different programs, and most specifically through the traditional arts and crafts workshops, which were very important during the Edo period, but are now disappearing due to the aging population, we encourage informal and intergenerational exchange. So the idea here is to create a school where people not only gain academic knowledge, but also reconnect with their local culture and with each other to create a stronger sense of belonging. Socially, we hope this project can foster stronger community bonds and a shared responsibility within the neighborhood. Sustainability was integrated in the project, both technically and conceptually. Firstly, the water management played a major role in our design. So water was collected, filtered, and then reused through visible rooftop terraces and water systems, allowing the water cycle itself to become a part of the learning experience. Environmental performances were also addressed through photovoltaic panels, green roofs, and natural ventilation strategies to reduce energy consumption and improve thermal comfort. In terms of materiality, we used wooden post and beams system combined with earth-based concrete cores to reduce environmental impacts. Water and vegetation were also carefully integrated in the design to improve biodiversity and once again improve the thermal comfort. And most importantly, to connect architecture to nature. Adaptability was also a form of sustainability for us. Since we designed a place that can adapt and evolve through time, it automatically extends the lifespan of the project. Our project is conceived of a series of islands that are connected by bridges that span over open green corridors, offering visual connections towards different interior spaces, whether cafe, galleries, or workshop, all converging into the central plaza where these islands interconnect. Our main intention was to preserve the sense of discovery throughout the project. We wanted the visitor to gradually experience architecture rather than understand it at once. This is why our exterior facades only give a glimpse of interior spaces, creating a sense of curiosity and inviting the people further in. While going through the open pathways towards the center, spaces become more open and visible, and arriving in the shared plaza, all visual connections and social interactions come together. So we wanted to create this whole architectural journey where the visitor is transported from one atmosphere to another while revealing different sceneries along the way, all of which using light and water as a guide. To be more precise, in one of our galleries, there is a central patio that creates a waterfall effect. And when the water falls off from the roof and connects with the natural light, it creates a game of shadows and lights inside of the gallery that guides the visitors through the spaces. Also, to strengthen this relationship between water and light, we used in our facades glass bricks that filter daylight and that create the similar pattern as water. And all of that create a sense of calmness and serenity in the project. When we think of school today, we imagine ourselves in enclosed classrooms and buildings that are disconnected from the life happening around them. We believe that architecture can redefine that role. For us, schools should not function only as spaces for formal education, but also as spaces that participate in the city and in relationships between people that can learn from one another. So, by creating environments that encourage encounters and social interactions, architecture can open new ways of learning and rethinking the educational experience itself. We also think that schools are too rigid and are disconnected from the reality of evolving societies. So we think that educational spaces that are more flexible and adaptable will allow them to respond to the changing social, environmental, and educational needs. Thank you for watching this video.